Hey, everybody. This is the Lone Wolf Show, and I have a special guest backstage. But first, I would like to welcome you to the Lone Wolf Show, broadcasting on www.witchcrafttv.online. And also, our guest will be premiered on Pagan Music TV on the Witchcraft TV network. So without further ado, we bring in Gatherer from the Raven's Call. Gatherer,
Hi there. I am absolutely fantastic this evening. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic here, and I'm so excited to have you on. I know that we have been corresponding for a little bit, and this is rather a shock that I am completely stoked about this song, Earth My Body. So where did you write Earth My Body? And we're going to play this song. And to my viewers, you got to hear this song. It just makes you, it makes you dance. It does.
Where did I write it? Well, I wrote it actually, like all the songs that we do on the album and our coming up album. They actually came while I am in trances. So this one was actually written while I was down in Seattle. And
you wrote it? So
it's basically the story of it is I got permission from the group to take the chant that kind of everybody knows, the earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. I got permission to bring that, but I added kind of our twist to it and wrote verses with it that I think are very poignant, and the verses really, as I was in a trance, just came to me, and the message that kind of needed to be out there, and not just at the time in 2005 when I wrote it, but also it's the message in all of them are as poignant then as they are now.
So you mentioned trance-like, and you mentioned that you had to ask like your coven, your friends, permission to play it.
It was actually my group, the Tuatha De Danann Sean Keel. The Sean Keel is started in Ireland, and I joined it when I was living in Seattle with the Cascadian Sean Keel. And I had to get permission because it was a chant that we used. And so I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was actually allowed to use it, create a song with it, and just make sure everything was on board and there's no bad stuff that would come if I decided to use it, especially legality wise.
So what country does that ballad Earth My Body come from?
As far as I know, it started over in Ireland, and then it's just grown to basically worldwide. It's used quite a bit here in Canada in a lot of groups' rituals, and I've given them permission because I got permission that they could use sort of the chorus in the rituals because it fits so well in. Now, I myself am not Wiccan, but it fits well into a Wiccan circle. So, and like you said, it's meant to get the energy pumping, the blood flowing, and the energies and magics that you're trying to raise. It really gets them pumping and going and gets everybody excited and everybody in kind of that place where you want to be before you do rituals and even during rituals.
So I can no longer take it. I got to hear just a few seconds of this song. Hold on. All right. That's good. That's good. I had to just one more time. So that's like the climatic part of it. It's definitely a
Yeah.
song of climax, which is very important in a lot of songwriters' scheme of things. I want to go over the name Gatherer. Where did
Okay.
that name come from?
That actually was.
Hey, bud.
How you doing, Mike?
Good, good.
Well,
Did you need a ride?
I sure do, but we're in the Lone Wolf Show alive with a wonderful pagan musician. Would you like to say hi to the audience?
Yeah. Hi, audience.
Hey, everyone, this is Mike
Oh,
Alling,
Mike.
and he is with the Temple of Pan, who is also broadcasting on Witchcraft TV. So what a surprise that we have him in the Witchcraft
Right.
TV studio as well.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'll let you do it.
And we'll get with Mike after the interview. So that was cool. Yeah, you can catch Mike Alling with the Temple of Pan, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Witchcraft TV. But yes, Gatherer, where did the name come from?
It was actually given to me because I am a Drawi of the Tuatha De Danann Sianchail. And it was given to me because not only with my music, I like gathering people together, but I also gather like-minded souls and souls together because I really work with helping people cross over to the other side, whether you believe in the Summerland, whether you believe in Tir na Nog, whether you believe in Valhalla and the Nine Realms. So it's really based on that in gathering all, not only souls, but gathering humans as well to get the purpose of why people are put here and to help out the earth, help out each other, and to spread the joyous word.
Mm-hmm. Gatherer. I like the name. Really intriguing. So my next question is, what is your spirituality? And the reason why I ask is earlier in the interview, which we just am not getting started, you had said that you were not Wiccan. What is your comfortable skin?
I am actually an ancient Irish Celtic reconstructionist. So what that is through looking at the Irish lore, Irish history, and Irish archaeology, piecing together what the rituals would have been like back when our ancestors were over in Ireland and bringing them to what we can legally do nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So recently we just went over Mabon. Well, contemporary witches and pagans alike have a common decision that we all call it Mabon for this particular Sabbath. And my question to you is, does the Mabinogion have anything to do with Mabon?
I would say no, because the ancient Irish Celtics, they did the four fire festivals. So they do Brigid, they do Simonius, they do as well Lunasa, right? And Brigid. So they really concentrate on theirs because back then they couldn't meet 8 times a year, right? To celebrate, because at those big ones, you had people coming from all over the world, or all over the different area of Ireland, coming together into sort of one community to celebrate. And with them, they don't have a plane, so 2-3 hours you can get to a destination by plane. Back then, it could take up to 2 weeks if you're traveling by horse and cart, if you're walking. And so you think 2 weeks there, then 2 weeks back, that's almost an entire month of traveling right there. And they usually spent anywhere between 3 and 7 days or even 14 days for the rituals. Like for Simonius and Lunasa, they were like the biggest ones, which lasted usually 2 weeks, 2-week long. And that allowed them to get the other people to get back to their lands to do the farming, everything else that kind of needed, it was important for survival to get done. So really the other four, sort of the cross quarters, as a Reconstructionist, we don't celebrate, because really in the lore, it just talks about the 4 fire festivals. And
So as a
I should have,
right,
and two of the names that I've said, I know a lot of the viewers kind of will guess what they are, but might not. Bridget, in sort of the Wiccan and modern term, could be called Imbolic or Candlemas. That's kind of falls under that. But traditionally, the ancient Irish called it Bridget because it was all about honoring the goddess Bridget. Now, Simonius is an older term for the term Samhain. And that, as many people in the modern know, what Samhain, Samhain, Samhain are all kind of the same thing. But we call it Simonius because we're going with the more older pronunciation of the term.
Gatherer, what do you think that the percentage of lingo that modern contemporary pagans and Wiccans say come from Ireland?
A lot of it, yes, but
Can you give
a lot of it
examples?
comes from like when we're talking about the modern Samhain, it's taken from Simonius. So that would really, but it also comes from the Scottish and Welsh. Well, Welsh didn't really have that. They called it a different name, and I'm not entirely sure on that one. But the Scottish and the Brittonic Celts all kind of used that kind of the Salvan name, and depending where you were from, depended on how you would pronounce it. And when Gardner kind of created the Wheel of the Year, if you will, what modern pagans know as a Wheel of the Year, he used those as well as many others. Like you got the Norse side of things, which really helped with the 4 cross quarters, right? And it was kind of a mixture of a whole bunch of different paths, if you will, to create something. Because in modern society, especially over here in the West, it's really a melting pot of different cultures, different paths. So when Gardner really brought it to the forefront for everybody, it was really like, hey, here's something for everybody that everybody can be drawn to. But if you look at paganism in general, there is a lot of, I wouldn't say necessarily Irish Celtic, but definitely Celtic. And I use Celtic as an umbrella term for kind of the different branches of Celtic. And like you got the Claddagh that almost everybody, whether you're pagan or not, knows. You got the Triskel, right? All those are taken kind of from, that comes really from the Irish side. And a lot of the myths that kind of people know and love too, like the story of Cuchulainn, the story of Lugh, right? Like definitely the 4 fire festivals, I can almost say with 100% certainty that yes, they definitely came huge Irish influence, because I mean, you got Lunasa directly related to the Irish god Lugh, right? You got Imbolic, Bridget, directly related to the goddess Bridget, right? You got Simonius, Samhain, which is directly related to the new year, All Saints, honoring the dead and our ancestors, right? And a lot of the traditions, like the interesting story is the pumpkin carving that, you know, a lot of us do around the holidays actually comes from the story of Stingy Jack, which is an Irish folk tale. And it's all about him wanting to not have any kind of the bad things come at him. So what Stingy did was he carved a turnip into a horrible face. And when kind of the Irish came over to the West, Because over in Ireland, they don't really grow pumpkins. They have lots of turnips, but no pumpkins. And so when they came over here, they started, hey, these pumpkins are a lot easier to carve than turnips. Because I don't know if you've tried to carve a turnip, but it's definitely not as easy as carving a pumpkin.
Within the infrastructure of paganism, would you call oneself a witch?
That is an interesting question. I wouldn't call myself a witch. I'd call myself more of a drowie, which is another name for kind of a druid. So I wouldn't consider myself a witch, how people think, cast spells and that. But I will usually call myself drowie.
So that's a comfortable skin that you wear, is that of a druid. Translate into English as druid. So what is the difference between, what is the difference and what is the similarities of a modern pagan compared to a drowie?
They do a lot of similar stuff, like honoring the earth and that, but obviously the festivals are a bit different, as well as and how they celebrate is different. Like if you look at, say, a modern pagan ritual versus what I do, it's, you got your core, you call the quarters, a lot of, not everybody, but a lot of people call the quarters, invoke the goddess and god, cast a circle, all that kind of stuff. Whereas me with the ancient Irish, we really don't do any of that. Our rituals are kind of like more of basically like ritualistic plays, if you will. Because you have the May King, the whole crowning at Beltane, you have the crowning of the May King and Queen, and them ruling until Lunasa, which they're sacrificed to bring about the crops and good health, right? And so we act it out and we do more of the sympathetic magics, whereas we're acting out these dramas to bring about a nice harvest for the community. We're having the king and queen go bless the land again to help. So we're not necessarily focused on, okay, yeah, you have to cast the circle, you have to go around this way, you have to have the different candles representing the elements and that, right? We're more in, okay, let's do this. We're going to plant a seed, and that's our crop. We're going to bless the seed planted in the ground, right? We're going to have a bonfire and throw, look at our ancestors' pictures, do fire scrying for like Simonius, right? And honor them by dancing. One of the things we do at Simonius is we actually dance around the fire and invite our ancestors, and we call on our ancestors to come and be with us for kind of one last dance. So every year I get from the members lists of names who they want to honor, and then we invite them in, and we also share the ashes of the slain king that we ritualistically slay at Lunasa and offer him, and as a sign of thank you for giving your life so that we have crops, right? And this is come on and Simone Sobo, come on, let's dance.
Very pretty. I want to talk more about your music. And I have at the bottom of the screen here a website of sorts to find your music. Can you tell us more about that particular website?
That website is for like all things that I sell, like my services as well as my band CD. And it's our first CD that's on there. You can order it both as a physical copy, like I send you a physical CD, or a digital copy, and you message me. I pay, and then I send you a digital file so that you can actually have digital copy of the CD. Because I know in this day and age, not everybody likes having CDs anymore. A lot do digital, and I'm very adaptive in that.
So, do you use DistroKid or CD Baby when you submit your music to the
I use DiscoKid, so I put all the band stuff up on DiscoKid, and then DiscoKid is wonderful about spreading it all across to the different platforms, because you can also find us on Spotify. If you look us up, you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and that's all thanks to DiscoKid, because it's a nice service, because then I don't have to go and apply to every single one of the tons of different areas that you can get music on nowadays, right?
Where do you record your music? Do you do it from the house? Do you go to a recording studio? How is that process going?
With our first album, we recorded it in a studio here in Edmonton, and with this new album, and we'll probably touch on that later, I'm recording all out of the house, because I got some good recording equipment, so doing it all out of the house for that one. It was just at the time of the first one, I kind of didn't have any of the really decent mixing or sound equipment, and I do really value making sure the sound quality is good for people.
What instruments do you play?
Okay, well, for the band, I write the songs. I play the Irish bodhrán. I play the tin whistle. I play also the violin in the pieces that call for a violin. And a bit of piano.
That's cool. Do you have any instruments around you right now in reach?
Not around me now, no. It's in
I didn't mean to put you on
room.
the spot. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but from time to time we have pagan musicians on the Lone Wolf Show play sets, and that's something that we could definitely relive again.
Oh, for sure, we'd love to, and then I could get the band and play a live set if you want sometime. We can definitely talk about that.
That would be very intriguing. So, what is your inspiration? Who is your inspiration? Do you have a particular favorite pagan musician or mainstream world artist or local artist that you look up to?
Pagan musician, well, one of them who I really, really, really look up to. And when I was down in Seattle, I met him now, but he is one of the most fantastic people out there. And that's Alexander James Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And for the pagan side of things, him and Gaia Consort, and also known as Bone Poet Orchestra, sorry. They're ones that I really look up to. Also, for more mainstream, I really look up to Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and especially my kind of vocal coach that's been kind of helping guide me, Chloe Lowry. She plays in the West Coast band of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So I kind of really look up to those people.
Alexander James Adams is a wonderful pagan artist, and we have interviewed him on the Lone Wolf Show before, and he often streams on www.witchcrafttv.online as well. So that's interesting. The orchestra band that you're talking about also streams on Pagan Music TV, and yeah, that's a lot of great noise, ain't it? I love it.
Oh, they're absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. How about pagan videos or the art of music videos? Do you have any videos that have been put together as sophisticated as your obvious music is?
That I've done personally or that I've kind of seen?
Do you have any good pagan music videos? I guess I should have asked.
Again, myself or others, because we're going to be Raven Skull is actually going to be doing our first music video, if you will, coming up here probably December, January-ish, when we can get some snow on the ground. And it's going to be for one of the songs from our new album. The other music videos, I haven't really seen a lot of pagan music videos, which is a shame. I'd love to see some because I think it would be great. I've seen lots of performances like that people have shot with their phones or with cameras from like events and fairs and stuff, but I haven't really seen, a lot of the actual music videos, and I'd love to get links to so that I can see some because I want to help support other artists as well.
You make a really valid point that when it comes to pagan music, there's more on stage recordings that become the pagan music videos than the actual, hey, let's plan out synchronized events in conjunction with this beautiful audio masterpiece. So yeah, that's a really good point. On Pagan Music TV and on Witchcraft TV, we do have several pagan musicians and bands that have like full-fledged music videos. So I encourage our audience to definitely check that out, www.witchcraft.tv and Pagan Music TV. So that's exciting that you'll have a new release, a music video of sorts, come this Yule.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have it. I'm hoping to have the video done before Yule. Hoping. I know the CD I'm looking for release here by the end of October, beginning of November. That's when I'm hoping to release our newest album. We're on track to be able to do that. But technology, sometimes it likes you, sometimes it hates you.
The common joke in the pagan community seems to be that the gremlins are just kind of eating everything. But I think AI is confused or has a hiccup, or maybe, something of that caliber. So yeah, that's awesome. You're up there in Alberta, Canada, and you're of Irish descent in Canada, and you're well in tune with your pagan ancestors and gods and goddesses. Who is what god and goddess created you? Who do you talk to when it comes to the old gods?
For them, the one up until recently, like I said, about the last 2 years, I followed only An Vorgu, which that's the Irish pronunciation of the Morgan. And I followed her, studied her lore, everything like that for over 30 years now. And in the middle of doing an intensive class for people specifically on her. And the other one I recently, in the last 2 years, follow is also the Dagda, her consort. So those are the two big ones that I follow. I don't really, the rest, I'll honor them. Like at Bridget, I honor Bridget, and I'll honor Lou at Lunasa, but they're not my primary pantheon. If they're not my primary go-tos, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I've always fancied Bridget, the fire goddess of the Southern Quarter. Something about the energy is always suited well. and which makes sense. I'm Aries, so that's probably why. So I also am very fascinated with the fact that the Catholics have named her a saint many years ago. And it was a way to say, okay, we want you converts, but we're not getting rid of Bridget. And I just think it's so very clear that even with all the patriarch, you can never extinguish the goddess.
Exactly. And that's an interesting point that you brought up, is especially with a lot of them and with the different pantheons, they have made them saints for that reason. Just like with a lot of the pagan holidays, they've taken it to help if I can use the term, help with the conversion. But it's so awesome to see, like in Ireland, they actually do a celebration on February 2nd to February 4th range, all in honor of Bridget. And they've actually now made it a national holiday.
That is so awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Lone Wolf Show. I've had a great time here. Make sure everybody checks out the Gatherer here from the Ravens Call right at the website at the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And keep
also, we are on Facebook. Look up Ravens Call on Facebook, and you'll get updates about the new album. It's going to be entitled All Around the Yule Tree. So keep tuned for that.
Let's be, y'all. Keep it right here, Witchcraft TV.